Okay, I want to talk now about whether or not we can use the spiral arms of the galaxy to determine how old the universe is, or at least how old the galaxy is. And I'm borrowing just a picture here for a moment from someone here that was examining the Coriolis effect. And we're not going to be talking about the Coriolis effect, okay? That's not the topic here. I'm just borrowing their videos. So anything I say here has nothing to do with their experiment here and doesn't reflect on this at all. But I just want to show you the spiral arms, going one way in the southern hemisphere, the other way in the northern hemisphere, done in these kiddie pools. Well, these spiral arms form the very second that you, and of course he's got the food coloring in there to show you, but the very second that he pulls the plug, these spiral arms immediately begin to form. Now you don't see them unless, you put the dye in there. But they happen immediately because, this water molecule is connected to the water molecule next to it and connected to the one after it. So when you create a low pressure zone, all of them begin to pull on each other at the same time. Okay? So let's examine that here for a minute. Same thing happens in space. Okay, and on a hurricane, for example, I mean, you can see from space. Same thing happens on a hurricane. Now, let's critically think about this for a second. Let's say that you walked into this hurricane, okay, or you were on a boat and this hurricane hit you, and you measured the winds going 100 miles per hour, just random number. And you could say, well, that means that the winds have moved 300 miles in 3 hours. Would it be logical to say that, okay, 30 days ago, that means we've gone around the eye of the hurricane however many times that speed would wrap us around the hurricane? No, it's not logical because the hurricane did not exist 30 days ago, most likely, in most cases, right? Now, these spirals form the second that you start the low pressure system. They begin to pull and push on each other. So it's not logical to say that we can use the current speed. We don't know. If we were to walk in right here to this guy's experiment, and let's say we walked in after he pulled the plug and he had just left the room and we had walked into the room, would we know when he pulled the plug? We would see it spinning. Okay. Well, you could say, well, we could see how deep the water is in the kiddie pool. All right, well, fair enough. We could measure that. But when it comes to the universe, do you know how big the pool is? No, you have no idea. It's not just the size of the galaxy that we see, but it's much, much bigger. So that's not a possibility when it comes to measuring the speed that we're at. Now, we cannot just say that in the galaxy arm that we are moving, oh, we'll get that in a second, that we are moving, let's say the Earth is right here on this picture here of the galaxy. We cannot just say that because the Earth is moving 828,000 kilometers per hour, that 5 billion years ago, that means we've gone around the center of the galaxy however many thousands of times that would be. All we know is that we look out today and we're going 828,000 kilometers per hour according to this Google search. We don't know when the plug was pulled. We don't know when the low pressure zone was started. But we do know that the second that it did, all this force happened immediately. So logically, just on that information alone, could this galaxy have been in existence for 6,000 years just based on what I said? Yeah. Was it? Well, you might have to think about some other things first, but just based on that, this is a terrible way for anyone to get confused and say, well, because we're going this speed in the galaxy, that means that the galaxy and the Earth has to be billions of years old. No, it doesn't. It doesn't tell you that at all. You have no idea. Now let's get to my prism. It's a logical fallacy to use the speed of light. I don't know, logical fallacy is not the right word, I'm sorry. It is just not logical, let me put it that way. It's not logical to use the speed of light to determine how far away something is. You see, the speed of light, regardless of what Einstein said, is not constant. We know that scientifically because you see it in a prism. You see it in a cup of water. Here, the light beam comes through the prism and it's slowed down inside the glass. And then it appears to speed back up again. Obviously, it's not going as fast as it was here, or it wouldn't be broke up. Okay? So it's already starting to break up here, and then the angle breaks it up some more. But whatever pushed the light here is also pushing the light inside the prism and is also pushing the light outside the prism. That is a continual force, whether it's the ether, gravity, some sort of electromagnetism, you decide. Okay? But the light itself is some sort of a perturbation in a wave formation of what it's going through. So if it goes through something apparently more dense, it slows down. Now let me ask you this. Do you know, they like to tell you that they know the speed of light in a vacuum, but do you know the density of everything between here and every other galaxy in the universe? You know that. You have 100% proof how dense the whatever is between us and the rest of the galaxies is everywhere out there. You know that. Are you sure you know that? I mean, you were there? No, you can't. You can't possibly know that. So, did the speed of light change between there and here? Is it less dense in some places, going much, much faster? It's very, very possible. Now, hopefully, okay, here we go. Here is let's look at this. Let's look who made this article. Live Science. Does it say live creationism? No, this is a scientific article from probably evolutionary scientists that think the world is billions of years old, most likely. Okay? So, here we have them telling you that the speed of light may not be constant. So if it's possible that the speed of light has slowed over the years, that means it may have been much faster than the current 186,000 miles per second at some point. I know that they debate this theory back and forth. Some people believe it, some people don't. But it wasn't creationists that just popped this up just to try to throw in some objection because they had to believe it or something. No, this is mainstream evolutionary cosmologists putting this out here. There's also one other factor about the speed of light that we should consider. And I love this book that Dr. Russell Humphreys wrote. I gave it to my physics teacher when I was in high school. And he read it over the summer, came back and said, there's no way I believe in evolution anymore because of this man's book. And he talks about how he believes that the universe was started in a white hole. And that the expansion of the white hole caused an event horizon to collapse, allowing light to travel at its current speed along the event horizon and easily get from the most distant places in the universe as time slows down along the event horizon, essentially stopping around an event horizon. The same concept that they have in Star Trek, The Next Generation, every time they get near a black hole, the event horizon distorts time, So the collapsing event horizon allows ample time for light to travel. And perhaps it also changed speed. So there's no reason from these two ideas that we're traveling in a spiral arm of a galaxy and the speed of light to think that the world has to be and the universe has to be billions of years old. So consider that and really think about it for a while. Now this I'm not telling you every last possible reason that could be out there. Just these two reasons. That's all I'm focusing on. Just separate it from the other reasons for a minute and just focus on these two things. If you reply to me intelligently based just on these two things. Please. I would appreciate that very much. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.